All right, if you're in college, I bet you know this feeling. You look at your schedule and it seems like you have all this free time, but somehow you're always running behind. It is the college time trap. And today we are going to break it wide open and give you the tools you need to finally own your schedule. Does this feel a little too familiar? That kind of constant low-level panic? That nagging feeling that you're forgetting something, that a deadline is just around the corner, or that you are never, ever going to get through that mountain of reading? If that's you, trust me, you are not alone. So what is going on here? Where's the disconnect? Well, the problem is that the entire game has changed. You've gone from the super structured world of high school to the wide open freedom of college, and the old ways of doing things, they just don't work anymore. I mean, just look at the difference. On the left, that's high school. Your day is packed, planned out for you from bell to bell. But on the right, that's college. It looks so empty, right? So much freedom. But here's the secret. All that white space isn't free time. That's where the real work is hiding. And here is the brutal math that nobody really tells you about. For every single hour you spend sitting in a classroom, you're expected to do 2 to 3 hours of work outside of it. You do that calculation, and suddenly those free gaps in your calendar, poof, they're gone. Okay, so how in the world do you deal with all this hidden work? It starts with a really powerful way of thinking about your tasks. It's all about understanding the difference between the stuff that's yelling for your attention right now and the stuff that actually matters in the long run. And this right here, this is the Eisenhower Matrix. And honestly, it is a total game changer. It forces you to sort everything on your plate into 4 boxes based on 2 simple questions. Is it urgent and is it important? This gives you 4 zones: crisis mode, the success zone, interruptions, and, well, time wasters. So quadrant 1, that's crisis mode. These are the fires you have to put out right now. The paper that's due in an hour, the exam you totally forgot about. It's high stress, it's frantic, and it is an exhausting place to live. Now, quadrant 2, this is where the magic happens. This is the success zone. These are the things that are super important for your goals, but they don't have a crazy deadline attached. This is planning ahead, doing your readings early, working out. It's all the stuff that prevents fires from starting in the first place. The other 2 quadrants, by the way, are things we want to avoid: interruptions and time wasters. The goal is to live right here in quadrant 2. But let's be real. This chart is what life looks like for most students. Almost half your time is spent in full-on crisis mode, with another huge chunk lost to interruptions. And that success zone, it's just this tiny little sliver. Our entire mission is to flip this chart upside down. So here's the main takeaway, the big aha moment. When you intentionally spend your time in quadrant 2, when you plan your paper, when you study a little bit each day, you are actively diffusing future crises. You stop living in a state of emergency. Okay, that's great. We know what we should be focusing on, those quadrant 2 activities, but the big question is, how do we actually make time for them? Well, the next tool takes us from a vague wish list to a concrete battle plan. I want you to meet time blocking. It's simple, but it's powerful. Instead of having a to-do list that you hope you'll get to, you give every single task a specific appointment on your calendar. It's not, I should study for bio. It's, from 2 to 4 p.m., I am studying for bio. See the difference? And here's what that looks like in the real world. You see how that deep work block for a chemistry set is scheduled with the exact same importance as a class? It's a non-negotiable appointment you have with yourself. And this is so important. So are meals, exercise, and downtime. You schedule them in because they're not leftovers, they're priorities. So you've got your priority system and you've got your schedule. Awesome! But now how do we make it all stick? Let's lock it all in with 3 simple habits that can totally change the game. We're talking small changes that lead to huge results. These 3 habits are a killer combination. First, we're going to learn how to face those massive projects without panicking. Then, how to stay completely locked in during your work time. And finally, the secret weapon, how to protect the time that you've so carefully planned out. First things first, stop looking at the whole mountain you have to climb. That terrifying 20-page paper, it is not one task. It's a bunch of little, tiny, manageable steps. This week, maybe your only job is to find the first 5 sources. That's it. All of a sudden, it feels totally doable, and procrastination just doesn't stand a chance. All right, next. When it's time for one of those deep work blocks on your calendar, don't just try to grind for 2 hours straight. You'll burn out. Instead, Work in short, focused sprints. The Pomodoro technique is perfect for this. 25 minutes of pure, uninterrupted focus, then you get a 5-minute break. It's amazing for keeping your brain fresh and building momentum. And finally, we have what might be the hardest habit of all. You have to understand that your time in college is finite. It is your single most valuable resource. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't really matter, you're saying no to something that does, like your studies or your well-being. Learning to say no isn't mean, it's strategic. Now, when you start putting all these pieces together, the matrix, the time blocking, the habits, something really incredible starts to happen. You stop just trying to survive the semester, and you actually start to thrive in it. And this is the real payoff. This is why it's all worth it. It's not about becoming some kind of productivity robot. It's about creating a college experience where, yes, you get better grades, but you do it with so much less stress, and you actually have real, protected time for your friends, for your hobbies, for your life. This quote just nails it perfectly. Effective time management is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters most when it matters most. The goal isn't to cram more stuff into your day. The goal is to make sure the time you spend is purposeful. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Don't try to change everything all at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just ask yourself, what is one thing, one small thing, I'll do this week to start owning my time? Maybe you'll just sketch out the Eisenhower Matrix for your to-do list, or maybe you will just time block one study session. Just pick one thing and start today.